just got back from dinner at Topolino's Terrace over at Disney's Riviera Resort, and I thought I'd like to talk to everyone about my experience there before the notes went away in my head. I haven't even taken off my scarf yet, nor my mask. By the way, mask chains are a yes. As a tip, a huge tip by Disney Food Blog. Follow that tip. They're awesome. You don't leave it lying away. It doesn't drop on the ground. You have to put your gross mask on the table. It's fantastic. So just put it on, drop it down, and there it is. Anyway, I was at Topolino's Terrace back in June of 2020 when the DVC resorts had just reopened, but the parks had not yet reopened. Just Disney Springs and a few DVC resorts were open, and got a reservation at Topolino's Terrace. I decided to go with the homemade ricotta. At that time, I hadn't seen many reviews on it. It sounded absolutely delicious. This is not your ooey gooey, melted mozzarella type cheese thing. This is a fresh, homemade ricotta, probably more reminiscent of a cottage cheese, but it was absolutely delicious. It came with sort of like a tomato confit, aged balsamic vinegar dripped around, super sweet, really nice. Salt and pepper on the top, a little fleur de sel, some cracked black pepper, and a sprig of basil. Back in June, I think it had a sprig of purple basil and green basil. Tonight it just had a green basil. Regardless, but both are fantastic. And then they give you this epi bread, and epi it's like this rustic French bread shaped like a wheat strand, a wheat frond, whatever wheat is, it's got like pieces to it, so it's got this wheat shape, and each sort of like a petal of that bread is super crusty on the outside, warm, moist on the inside, perfect for dipping in olive oil, dipping in the ricotta, dipping in the balsamic vinegar, scooping a little bit of that tomato confit on there. The olive oil that they poured at the same time they gave the epi bread and the ricotta is this Reno. If I could have a favorite olive oil. This might be a favorite olive oil. Reno, black, fruity, D'Artagnan olive oil. It is amazing. I really don't feel I'll ever find a better olive oil out there. It's silky, it's smooth, it's the sexiest thing I ever ate. I just get it on my lips, and I'm like, I just love this olive oil. I love it, and I love washing it down with the Vernaccio wine. It's this crisp white Vernaccio. That was a highlight. Now, I felt it was better back in June, and I think the difference is that what I received tonight was a little bit chilly. Kind of, how when food gets too cold, you almost can't quite taste it very well, because when it warms up a little bit, the flavor comes out more. So I feel that that's what the difference was between what I had back in June and what I had today. My recommendation, go to the bar for a drink first, if you can. I know in this day and age of COVID, you can't always do that. There's not always space at a bar. They do have a bar. They may have just seating they may have assigned seating at the bar for people who have reservations. But if you can get a drink first and let them know, hey, I'm going to order this appetizer, can you pull it out ahead of time and let it rest for a while? Now, my server, I had a 5 p.m. reservation. I was there right when they opened. My server told me that they don't have people there early enough to pull it out and let it kind of come to an ambient temperature if I'm going to dine at 5. So a little bit of a later time would have helped, or having a drink ahead of time and just sort of relaxing would have helped. Let that appetizer come down to an ambient temperature. Get that olive oil, get that bread. It's amazing. So I couldn't eat the whole thing because when I was here the last time, I had that appetizer and then I had their beet salad, another amazing dish, but I didn't repeat that. I wanted to try an entree this time. So I went with the rigatoni, which is a braised chicken sugo. I don't know what sugo is. Braised chicken sugo, dandelion greens, and a Parmigiano Reggiano. It wasn't bad. There's nothing bad about it. It was fairly delicious. It wasn't quite al dente, a little more done than al dente. I thought I had read that it came with Sunday gravy. I was expecting a red gravy. I had to reread the description. It didn't say anything about Sunday gravy. That must have been in another item that I read, or in last night's dinner. And it was more of a brown gravy. It's still delicious nonetheless. The kind of kind of cooking of the chicken where it's cooked long enough and slow enough, maybe braised, so that it's very tender and there aren't any weird parts in it, nothing strange, no little tendon pieces or anything like that, things we don't like to think about when we're eating any type of meat. So that chicken rigatoni was amazing. I had an Antinori Rosso wine to accompany that, another delicious glass of wine. I decided to go for a drink that could double as dessert, and actually I had to bring the description along because I knew I would never remember this. These are their winter cocktails. Let's see if we can see this. Is it backwards? It's probably backwards. I can't even. It's probably backwards. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm going to read this off. They're winter cocktails, which will be going away soon. They're not on the online menu. This is called Épicé Snow. I may be saying it wrong. It was $16. Let it snow with this lightly spiced, creamy, and cozy libation. Cognac, cream, creme de coco, spiced syrup, and nutmeg. So it was almost reminiscent of a little bit of an eggnog, not as thick as an eggnog, but it had a little bit of that creaminess. And I asked the server if they could do it without ice, just do it up in a martini glass, a Manhattan glass. Just do it up, because I'm thinking, well, I like an eggnog, I like a creamy drink. I don't really want it with ice. I don't like it with ice. I don't often drink much of anything with ice. And it was perfect. What a delicious end to the meal. So that I absolutely recommend if they will do it again. It's not on the menu. I bet if you ask, they'll do it. Cognac, cream, creme de coco, spiced syrup, and nutmeg. And I don't think that I'm going to continue doing food reviews on this YouTube channel. There's so many other channels out there who do it amazingly, so much better than I ever could. But hey, I'm at Disney. I'm going to eat. I have an opinion, so I'm going to let you know what it is. And that's my opinion on Topolino's. Always go for the ricotta, the homemade ricotta with the epi bread, with the aged balsamic, with the tomato confit, and this super sexy, silky, smooth olive oil, Jean Reno olive oil. They do sell it there too. If you can pack a bottle of olive oil in your bag, go for it. And that's my recommendation. Enjoy your dinner at Topolino's. Do things that keep you connected to God.